So we've already said that this Sunday is Candidate Sunday and the theme is Be Willing. Now, Candidate Sunday is an opportunity for us each to think through what God might be calling us to, and to actively pray that as we and others across the United Kingdom with the Republic of Ireland hear the invitation to be willing, we and others might respond in the same way as those early disciples. We're just going to look at a couple of characters in the Bible who were willing to follow Jesus. Now let's look at Noah. Now, can you imagine what people might say to him as he began to build the ark? God told Noah to build an ark for him and his family. He gave him step-by-step instructions how it was to be made. And to add to the enormity of the task, he was to take 2 of every kind of creature into the ark, not to mention enough food to feed both his family and all the animals. And the reason? God was going to send a huge flood, one that would destroy the whole earth and wipe out every living creature. And in Genesis chapter 6, verse 22, we read Noah's response. Noah did everything that God commanded. Wow, what a guy. We can read the fantastic encounter between God and Noah in Genesis chapter 6, starting at verse 9. Now, Noah probably thought God was completely nuts. He absolutely didn't understand what on earth God was playing at, asking him to make this ridiculously big ark on dry land. He didn't understand God's plan, but he did it anyway. And you know, you or I might not always understand what God is playing at with the things he is asking us to do. But be confident. God can use us even if the task ahead seems too massive, even if we feel overwhelmed by what the future might look like. As long as we're willing, God can and will amaze us with together with him what we can accomplish. God looked and he saw a messed up world and he needed somebody he could trust and rely on. And he saw Noah. And today he's looking still at that same messed up world where people are too busy for God, and he sees you and he sees me. Ordinary, imperfect people who have messed up big time, who don't have all the answers, don't understand and have doubts and a whole lot of questions. And God sees all that and he says, are you willing? Will you be that person who, like Noah, is prepared to make a difference for me in your generation? Now, another person in the Bible who took some persuading but did eventually submit to God's will is Moses. And you can read Moses' encounter with God in Exodus chapter 3 and 4. And Moses is my kind of guy. And you might align yourself with him. He's cautious, he's got doubts, he doesn't think he's capable. And so he doesn't respond with a yes, but he comes up with a whole load of excuses. He says to God that he's not up to the task. He's absolutely isn't good enough. And God responds by saying, I will be with you. And when God asks us to do something for him, he provides us with all the resources we need to be successful. We just need to trust that God has the power to work through us to make great things happen. Moses has another excuse. He doesn't think he knows enough. And God responds to Moses by saying, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Now, God knows we don't have all the answers. He knows we might not think we are very smart or even capable enough. But he is the great I am, so we have no reason to worry. And yet Moses had more excuses. He didn't think that people would take him seriously. He didn't think he was eloquent. But then we come to the crux of the problem, because Moses said to God, please, Lord, send someone else. God had provided Moses with an answer to all his excuses, but the real problem was Moses just didn't want to go. He wasn't willing. How often, when God asks us to do something for him that takes us out of our comfort zone, are we simply too afraid to step out in faith and obey him? I guess if we are all honest with ourselves, we all have a little bit of Moses in us. We come up with a million reasons why we are not good enough to do what God requires of us. But here's the thing, and I know I've said this before over the months, God needs you and he needs me to be willing. We're all he's got. We need to help him in his rescue mission for the church. If we are not willing, then who will he use? Do you need to be like Noah? You may not be asked to do something like build an ark, but God might be calling you to do something that to you and even others seems a bit crazy. Or maybe you're a bit of a Moses and you need to quit making excuses and just go. When D.L. Moody was just starting in the ministry, he heard a preacher make this statement: "The world has yet to see what God can do with one man fully surrendered to him." Moody that night said, "By God's grace, I'll be that man." Whatever challenging task God has placed on your heart, why not step out in faith to walk in the purpose God has given you? Take heart, knowing that on the other side of your yes to God is an outcome greater than you could ever imagine. God bless you.